Describe how you feel. I said, well, how do you describe falling in love? How do you describe red to someone who is totally blind? How do you speak about the glories of a Beethoven symphony to somebody who is deaf? Well, it's like that. I mean, I'm over the moon. I'm on cloud 9, as were most of my, if not all of my compatriots on that day.
As the country's first democratic elections, the vote of 1994 had a great impact on the lives of all South Africans. For Julian Kubel, it meant coming back home after his family escaped the state of emergency in 1986.
I was glued to the TV and, watching what was going on in South Africa, and I knew that my mom's dream was always to return to South Africa, and I think that was a moment where it was being discussed again. I think, we saw the changes, and my mom and my stepdad started talking about returning to South Africa.
Thando Toto still lived in Gugulethu Township on the outskirts of Cape Town.
It felt like life was going to be really, really great for everyone. We imagined the same type of lifestyle the white South African benefited from. So we had a lot to look forward to. So, but unfortunately, over the years it seemed like it wasn't all as we expected. But yeah, the whole year, I think maybe in a couple of years after, people were still very positive about South Africa and the changes that have just happened.
Julian now runs his own clothing label in Cape Town.
Yeah, if everything's going to look like this, with a straight label, I'm going to have a very big smile on my face.
Oh, you guys can hear me? I don't have to repeat. Before, when the white people was in power, there was nothing for us. Absolutely zilch.
Yeah.
When they came in power, at least we, as women, got rights. And that's important.
Thando works as a software developer and photographer. He has moved from Gugulethu, but his mom and sister still live there.
I don't come here that often, especially recently. It's just that I got tired of the traveling. Transport. It's not far. Cooks is not far from where I stay. But it's just that the route to here, by public transport, is a bit hectic. I have to catch 4 taxis.
Your camera is attracting tsotsis, the lady says. We drive off, and I resort to filming out the window. Soon we come to New Rice Squatter Camp, to a field that children use as a playground, where women hang up their laundry, and for others, it's a final resting place. Overhead, electricity cables pass by. No power here. Where is the dignity they speak of?
Township life is good, but it's still not the best place for a person to live in. That's why I have plans to take my mom and my sister out of the ghetto.
When I met Julian, it wasn't such a new thing, like to be friends with like someone like that. But I've never been like a close friend of a white person before. I'd say he's the first like white person I've ever gotten like this close to.
My family is, I don't even want to call them liberal, they're just really open-minded. They are just, I think largely the way I think is because of my parents, and I'm very grateful for that because they've taught me to respect the world, respect everyone else, and be open-minded and question also, you know, and just embrace differences.
After Mandela stepped down, it's been a bumpy road for the former liberation movement and ruling party of South Africa, the African National Congress. Besides facing allegations of racketeering and corruption at the time, Jacob Zuma was appointed the party president in 2007. This led to a rift and ignited infighting, which led to the formation of a new party called the Congress of the People just 6 months before the 2009 election.
The honeymoon that the people had entered with the release of Mandela was passing on.
The ANC also has to contend with the official opposition, Helen Zille's Democratic Alliance.
I think feminists and gender people are worried. I don't know if I'm part of those people, but let's say Jacob Zuma makes me feel a bit shaky.
Zuma has done nothing for you.
You cannot say nothing because I'm working at the post office and people were surprised to say a black person. But because of the ANC, you see a black person in such places as the post office.
This was an election where I definitely wanted my voice to be heard, so I made sure to register before heading to England for studies.
Are you the person who wants to register?
Yes, please.
No? You're only going to study now in England, or you already?
I've studied in September.
Oh, yeah, it was got funny terms. Okay, got that. UK conflict numbers. What are you studying overseas?
I'm doing filmmaking.
Oh.
Documentary filmmaking.
It showed that you applied for registration.
Okay.
I don't know how it works overseas, but obviously I think you normally would go and go there, the consulate,
embassy, yes.
The embassy, yeah.
Over 800,000 South Africans live in England. Most leave home to escape affirmative action policies and crime. Their events back home led them to enter an appeal with the South African High Court to overturn a ruling that's banned overseas voting since 1994.
A group called the South African Forum for Youth Abroad did a protest march a little while back. We marched from Temple to South Africa House to present a petition specifically saying that we as South African expats overseas want the vote. It was a petition that was going to be presented to some dignitary or whoever, if a cleaner had come out to meet us, we would have been happy. But as it is, it was just, nobody came.
It is our constitutional right to vote. It is our fundamental democratic right to vote.
It's beginning to excite more than ever. Democracy in South Africa is not only democracy by name, but also is effectively happening democracy. So we have been abroad for so many years. We never had an opportunity to vote in the 1994 election. Unfortunately, in the 1998 election, I was not in the country. I was in Israel. I've never had the time. So now we have said it is a time for young people to step in there and say, we can do it. We are all excited. We want to be a part and parcel of this election.
It's a very small-minded way of looking at things, that you travel, therefore you're no longer a citizen or belonging to a patriotic country. That's such a stupid idea. Because no matter where I am, yeah, I'm always a proud South African. I'm always like, yes, I come from South Africa, and I always talk highly of my country.
Back in South Africa, tensions are high on the streets as opposition party supporters clash.
Yeah, there will be some element of violence, whether it's perpetuated by some leaders, or it's just people in general doing their own thing because of what the leaders say, like on radio and TV, you know. They also have that kind of influence about how people generally behave.
Plus, when you get people in a group mentality tends to fuel a lot of tensions. There's going to be there's tension amongst races in South Africa. There's tension amongst different genders, who's doing this. There's just tension basically. Politics, as long as people are unified, you know, we all want to live happily ever after, but that's just not how things are. So, people are going to get angry. Inferiority complexes, superiority, whatever shit it is.
Better known really as a part of dark, you know.
She can get away with saying anything because no one will recognize her.
I think already seeing how, you know, there are clashes between the ANC and the Pope and the followers. It's kind of scary. I mean, it's like they're focusing more on the rivalry than actually making a change in this country. And I fear that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of rivalry, and also depending on how the election results are going to be, like, yeah, there could be clashes. So. I mean, some people would go as far as to say, look, there's potential for civil war.
Take your guns, your knives, and your pangas, and throw them into the sea.
The National Prosecuting Authority said it could not continue with the prosecution against ANC President Jacob Zuma.
I mean, even if he is innocent, there is a question mark, you know, and that's not good, I don't think, for our country.
Zuma was facing 16 charges linked to a multi-billion rand government arms deal, including one of racketeering, one of money laundering, 2 of corruption, and 12 of fraud. He really has escaped the inescapable.
Has this world gone stupid?
Well, I don't vote because of Zuma. I vote because of what the party stands for.
So you think they still stand for the same things they stood back then?
Deep down in my heart, I hope so. I hope so. But I'm sure if we all work together, as they say, we can make it happen. As they say. Maybe one day I can dance like Zuma.
Do you know how to do that, Michelle?
Well, I try, but I can do the Madiba dance, but not yet his dance.
Most of these people have some kind of criminal record, and that's what worries me. I would have voted for Mandela any day, but not these people that are sitting here. But we'll see. I'm not saying it's wrong that you're voting ANC,
That's just my opinion. Like, you know, I think
everybody's free.
That's how it should be, exactly. And one shouldn't be intimidated in any way, you know. But I just feel very scared. I don't know if my vote's gonna make that much of a difference, but I'm still determined to vote, and I think it's our duty.
Hey bro, this is the hood. Take off your seatbelt.
Why?
Because you're gonna look like a stuck-up white man and get us robbed.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You're attracting attention. You look so uncool here. It's not about uncool, but it looks like you're scared. And look, it makes you look like, I don't know.
Sure, man. So do I look like
it makes you, when you don't have it, makes you look relaxed and like
cool.
you from here. Looks
Sure.
like you're just driving to around
I'm a
the
white
corner.
kid, but I'm from here. Yeah.
How do you feel? I mean, do you feel strange now, us being here? Also yesterday, will it give you sort of like a negative, will the community feel a bit negative about it? And about you mixing with us?
I can tell you that for me, the reason I tend to think that about the negative part of it is that Thando hasn't even gone to the bush. Thando probably goes out of his way to be white. Look at him, he's friends with white people now. You know, like my sister. I remember that time when I had the accident and then they came and they met you for the first time in my flat. And then she was laughing, was like, Thando, you like white people. So she was laughing at me. But it sounds different when you say it in my own language. It doesn't have that effect now when I say it in English. I like Thando, so but Thando belum. Yeah. So obviously it's a given that people will look at it differently. It's something different. Yeah.
Union spokesperson Patrick Craven's calling on government to do everything possible to make sure that every worker is able to vote tomorrow. He says no worker must be denied their basic constitutional right because the employers are forcing them to work.
How are we feeling one day before the election?
Great.
Excited.
How does it feel?
It's amazing, actually. It's a really good feeling. The first time I actually voted.
Thando, now that you've made your vote?
It feels, I don't know. I actually don't know how it feels.
Do you feel like it counts? Do you feel like...
Yeah, I do feel like it counts, and especially while you're looking, I don't know, for some reason, you think that you're just gonna open that thing, look for the party, and just put an X on it. But just you're there, and then you think a bit. You start looking at these other parties, and you start having thoughts about them. And I just decided, no, let me get on with it, and I just put my X. And there is some kind of nervousness. I don't understand where it comes from. To be honest, I have no idea. But there is some kind of nervousness that I'm actually feeling right now.
People are not just voting cattle. People are having to make decisions, and some of the decisions go against your inclinations. You know, the way you used to feel, and you might find to say no, I don't think this time. I'm not sure that I want to go this way. In the head, in the heart. The heart says differently, the head says differently.
Are these all South African? Yeah.
Should we move forward? At the last minute, the South African High Court ruled in the favor of the overseas vote. The embassy at Trafalgar Square had remained closed during the riots. Now it opened its doors to visiting politicians and those eligible to vote.
the most important thing is to remind people that, you know, wherever you go in the world, whatever you do in life, you know, if you're born South African, you are South African, and that all of us, you know, share some of the responsibility of being part of that. You know, South Africans abroad play quite a big role in connecting South Africa to the rest of the world, and so this is just one of the many things that we can do to be part of that. Great.
I cast my vote. I'm feeling exhilarated. I am so excited. I have waited for this for many years while I've been living as a diaspora in the foreign British country, and I think in my heart I will always be a South African, and I want to have a say in the future of my country, and this has been an opportunity, and I'm so excited. I think it's a great opportunity.
And I'm going to speak in Afrikaans because that's my home language. Ek wil ook iets sê, ek is baie bly ons het opgestaan vir ons regte en ons het actually vandag reg gekry. Ons het almal gestem. Ek is so bly het omtrent so 'n paar duisend mense opgedaag. Ons is omtrent al van so 11 kant af hier en dit is absoluut briljant. Die gees is absoluut great. En Suid-Afrika tops. Ek is bly ons het gekom.
It's a sunny day, it's a good weather. Many South Africans turn up, but a few disappointments. On the other side, some they can't vote because they don't have an ID book with them. That's a disappointment. Some they can't come down because of the hours and the days, only one day off. But I believe what we will fight for will rip off our fruits today.
Bending the flag.
Just keeping the flag up high.
Yeah, keeping the flag flying.
Yeah, that looks pretty. That looks beautiful. That looks awesome, man. That looks awesome.
Fuck DA! I have seen some few DA members trying to distribute t-shirts as well, but of course, as you know, ANC will always overcome them.
We all move in, please. Thank you.
Just under 10,000 people voted, resulting in a victory for Helen Zille's DA with 76% of the vote. After casting his vote in the suburbs, Thando goes to Gugulethu to see his mom.
Old age people and the disabled were voting yesterday.
Yeah.
And the pregnant people were voting yesterday, but they didn't come to her.
Yeah.
She's upset, and this granny I'm talking about, she's also very upset because she wanted to vote. She's really upset, and I'm also upset about that.
Then you're coping down by the end. Yes, by Indon. Go on the pay Kells River, go send the content sense. So they have band to be cope and often funds. Sang and believe the time Zang and so police they funny I think only I don't for it tower and tone. My villa band be cope about his Zang. Oh, next 10. Sizakwa phela ngenyaya so ngibone ngibona don't faka kubo. If Zille got a majority, it's going to take whenever. But
we're going to see this.
But my problem now, the ANC that time the councillors, there were some things it was born by as they're not supposed to be done, but they are doing. That is the problem. And the ANC, what I don't like it. They have pick and choose. If they don't like you, they pass up by. They're going to somebody they want it. It's the same when they employed. And once again, if you are employed, if you are not an ANC member, you won't be employed in that firm. Forget about it.
What light must be here?
that you are, representing.
Yes, representing.
Yeah,
Really representing.
These are sisters, by the way. 1, 2, 3, they're sisters.
So the house is divided.
The house is divided.
The house is divided.
I think you should have this one.
But we feel confident.
4 months old, you think it's...
4 months old, he has done so well. And you can see ANC people are scared.
No.
Of course.
We are not scared at all.
They are.
Lying.
We are a threat to them.
Then we're coping with Vascom. What do you think Zuma is going to do for you?
A lot.
And he has done a lot for me already.
Yes, so.
What?
Houses.
Helen Zilla's job.
It was not.
It was not. You must edit some parts. They had said that they were going to eliminate some people.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Hoping to see ourselves on TV. when we perform on TV.
And remember, no propaganda. You must show us, because I know that we'll be talking and talking and talking, but you're broadcasting ANC people. Not anymore of that.
Is a movement of renewal.
The votes counted, the outcome was predictable.
Jacob Gedlehle Zuma, duly elected President of the Republic of South Africa.
I just have to get used to the fact that they are the ones in charge now, and yeah, things have changed and I have to get used to it. I cannot be bitter about it like forever.
No, I'm feeling okay. I don't have a problem whoever is being the president or whatever, but I know that Zuma was going to be the president. So I'm getting used to him, and I like his style. I like his style. He's an active person. He's a, how would I say?
Yeah, people's person.
Yeah.
Very happy because I knew what happens. As I told you what's going to happen, it happened.
Yeah. And are you happy with the result?
I'll be surprised.
No, we're not surprised. We're not surprised.
I don't believe it's as genuine as the one before in the first one. So I have no interest. I'd love to show some kind of interest, but I just can't. I'm not interested at all. I just have a generally negative perception of the way things are.
For me, it just looks like there's not going to be much happening. I've got the feeling these guys have convinced the people to vote for them and promise people change, but I think the only change is going to end up in their pockets. And I'm not one of those pessimists, especially those, I have to say, white pessimistic people that say, hey man, everything's going downhill, we need to leave this country. I love this country, and I still have faith in this country and the politics of this country. So I say, let's wait and see, that's all we can do.